Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, we are finally getting going on some more of the interior finish work. So we are going to start working on trim. What I have behind me here is I have baseboard and trim for the doors. And I'm not going to lie to you here. I'm going to be honest. I hate doing trim. Trim is one of those things where you paint it, you nail it up, you caulk all the nail holes and all the seams, and then you paint it again, and it's just tedious and time consuming, and it's not my favorite job in the world, but it is what it is, and it has to get done. So we're gonna go ahead and plan on having to kind of mass paint all of this trim, and there is quite a bit of trim that has to get painted. So I'm gonna start by trying to make some sawhorses. So upstairs in my scrap pile, I have a bunch of old kind of concrete covered 2x6s that I used for forms when we were pouring the foundation for the greenhouse. So I'm going to use some of these 2x6s. I would like to build 3 sawhorses that are about, 30 inches tall, maybe a little bit shorter. So those turned out pretty good. I am pretty happy with them. They ticked all my boxes. I used them out of old material that I already had laying around. They are fairly sturdy. I was thinking that the 2x6 sideways like that would maybe sag in the middle, but they're such a short run that there's no issue there at all. And they're stackable for storing them for later use, so that's pretty good. That bottom one, that kind of stained 2x6 is pretty twisted, so that sawhorse wants to kind of teeter-totter, so I got it all squared and level on the floor, got the other one stacked on top of it with some weight to try and get it to straighten out if I let it sit for a little bit. But yeah, so there they are. Those are some pretty decent looking sawhorses I whipped up in maybe an hour or so, and they'll be perfect for painting all this stuff. And so the painting saga begins. As you can see, we kind of got a paint station set up upstairs. But before we get too far into the paint, I'm going to show you what our door trim is going to look like. So this is kind of what we came up with, and this has gotten the wife's stamp of approval. So we are using just simple 1x4 trim for the door. And then on the top, I have ripped a 1x4 into an inch wide strip. So it'll stick out 1/4 of an inch here, and then I'm going to cut it 1/4 of an inch overhang longer on each side. So it'll be 1/2 an inch wider than from outside to outside of this, and then the top board will be the same width as from outside to outside of this. So you will have a 1/4 inch stick out all the way around. So that is kind of what we landed on for the top of our door trim, and everything else will just be kind of simple 1x4. It should be pretty straightforward, well within my skill set to make it look decent as a hack finish carpenter. So wildly enough, everything that you've seen up to this point in this video, I actually recorded over a year ago. And I've mentioned it in some previous videos, but what's kind of happened in my personal life is that I transitioned from working kind of a rotational 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off job in the oil and gas industry to now I teach at the local community college. So I teach math, engineering, and physics courses at the local community college, which is you have to go into work every day. I don't have a lot of time off, but on top of that, I am a brand new teacher, so as of now, I've just started my second year teaching this fall, and as a brand new teacher, there was just a whole lot of work for me in order to prep all these courses that I never taught before and build all the lectures and the homework and the exams, and it's just been really, really crazy trying to stay on top of all of that, and I have essentially stopped working on the house. I shouldn't say stopped working on the house, it's just that the progress has slowed substantially, because instead of working on the house for 14 days straight for 8 to 12 hours a day like I was doing, now I may work on it like a Saturday afternoon and maybe half a day Sunday. I'll be lucky if I get half a day of work in a week on the house, and because of all that, of working so much less and progress going so much slower, I really kind of lost interest in filming everything. So unfortunately, I have made quite a bit of progress. I shouldn't say it's not a lot of progress for a year's worth of time, but I have made some progress on the house over the past year that I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of show you what we've done up to this point, and then I'll kind of give you some new kind of more modern videos of stuff that I've been doing. So in those previous clips, you saw us doing some door trim on the guest bedroom door and on the hallway bathroom door. So now all the doors have been trimmed out in the house. So you can see if I walk into this hallway, we have 3 doors in here. There's the bathroom door going into the guest bedroom door. And then over here we have the master bedroom door, which has also been trimmed out. In the living room, we trimmed out the front door, and we also trimmed out the door to the shop. And I have also been working on trimming out windows. So you can see we have this window over here has been trimmed out. And the other big progress that's been made is that baseboard has been laid down everywhere in the house. So you can see my Cowboys are losing, but baseboard has been laid everywhere in the house, minus Kelly's closet. So we do have baseboard all along these walls, all through here, and baseboard, of course, in the hallway or the hallway here, and then we also have baseboard in all of the in the guest bedroom / office. So we still have some kind of temporary furniture in here, but I also want to show you how the guest room / office kind of turned out. So I had done these built-in desks previously. So what I've done since then, you'll forgive this kind of shelf in here, but I have included these upper cabinets on top of the desks, and then we have some shelves that go across the top, and then we have the 2 stations. We have the station on the left is where I sit, and the station on the right is for Kelly's, and we have some PC monitor mounts and all that stuff going on through here. Into the master bedroom, we have trim on all of the doors. So here's the trim going into the door into the master bath. Trim, you can see baseboard has been installed as well. I can turn the light on in here. We of course have trim on my closet door as well. Another thing that you'll maybe notice is that all of the hinges have been swapped out. So Kevin, my father-in-law, came out for a few days a while back, and one of the projects that we worked on was he helped me change out all the hinges from kind of the silver hinges that came with the doors to the black hinges that match the rest of the hardware through the house. I've also built in some built-in cabinets here in like my closet, so I can pull this stuff out of the way. But I have some built-in cabinets over on this side of my closet into here. And then of course I have some built-in kind of hanging space over on this side into my closet. Moving into the master bathroom, again, we have door to Kelly's closet has trim on it. Door into the water closet has trim on it. We have most of the baseboard through here. I could actually go in and finish up that corner now if I want. I haven't finished everything because how the baseboard interacts with the tile shower, I'm going to wait until after tile is done to finish all that stuff out. But you can also see the baseboard and how it rolls through and kind of lines up with my vanity over here on this side. In the water closet, because we did not have a designated linen closet designed into the house, what we have done is we've included, these are all upper cabinets. So we have 1 foot deep upper cabinets that essentially go floor to ceiling. I have to fix that trim up top. I'm not happy with how that turned out, but this entire wall inside of this the water closet is all kind of like linen cabinets. So this, if you kind of step back here and take a look at that wall, we moved that door over to the left in order to have enough room to put those 1 foot deep in linen cabinets in the water closet. So that's where we store all of our towels and sheets and everything. Filming from inside Kelly's closet here. This is the doorway that goes into the utility room. So this is the only pocket door in the house. As you can see, that's been all trimmed out. Looking into the utility room, if you don't remember from the mini split episode, inside the wall right here is where the distribution boxes are for the mini splits throughout the house. I have now hung, they don't open 100%, but I've now hung some cabinet doors which hide all of that. So there's the distribution boxes, but they are accessible, but they are kind of hidden behind these cabinet doors in the utility room. So that really kind of cleaned that up. That has also been all trimmed out. I built this folding table, which sits on top of the washer and dryer, and then above the washer and dryer, I hung these wire shelves just because they are easy and they are functional. So wire shelves, and this really kind of became a very usable utility room that we're really happy with. The other thing that you may have noticed while I was walking around the house is that we have trimmed out the beams. So we have cased out the beams. So let's go ahead and kind of show you how we did that. So this is the wood that I have picked up to case out the beams with. It is just kind of standard pine. So I got a couple of 1x10s right here that we're going to use for the sides of the beam. And then over here we have some what used to be 1x8s, but for each of the 4 beams that we are going to case, I measured the width of them at a bunch of different places. And at the location where I found the widest width, that is what I made the width of these boards. So these have all been ripped down to a particular width on a table saw. You can see that these ones have been labeled as 2. So this is going to be the second beam in from the front door. This is the measurement that I did. And then the arrow indicates which is going to be the good side. So right now I have the good side facing up on all of these beams or all of these casing boards. And I have already hung some of the wood on the first beam to get a chance to see what it was going to look like. And we're actually really happy with how it turned out. So what we need to do to get this second beam going here is we need to get these boards all sanded up and then we need to get them stained. Now with pine, I've had a lot of problems getting pine to kind of take stain evenly. I've done a bunch of different things. I've read things online about you can kind of cut Drano with water and then you can spray that on the wood. It kind of is supposed to open up the fibers, but what I have found works the best for me is if you sand them all down to like a 220 grit, like a really fine grit sandpaper, they sand a lot, or they stain a lot more even. So that's what we are going to do right here is we are going to start sanding and then we are going to stain them up and hopefully get a coat of polyurethane on them later tonight. And here is how the beams turned out, and I think they turned out really, really great. So they are not quite done yet. I did install them all with screws, so everywhere that there is a screw hole, I still have to stain and urethane a bunch of wood plugs and glue all those in, and then these beams will be done. So they did fit up really, really well. I'm really, really happy with how all the pieces kind of laid together. The little bit of caveats here, I did do 1x10s for this beam, the beam in the kitchen, and the beam closest to the front door. However, on this beam above the kind of wall here, I had to go with a 1x12 because when we did drywall, we had the drywallers drywall completely over that beam because I didn't know if we were going to do this or not. And that additional 5/8 inch of drywall hanging from that beam made it so that the crown molding I bought wouldn't have covered up the gap at the ceiling. So everywhere that you see all of these, you notice that there is a gap up at the ceiling. You won't see any of that. The living room is going to have crown molding all the way around, and the crown molding is big enough to cover up that gap. So I think that'll look really, really good with kind of the white ceiling, white crown molding into the natural wood beams. I think it'll look really, really nice when it's all said and done. One other thing that I have done kind of on the side that I didn't show a while ago is where I had installed these cabinets previously. So there's a cabinet there and a cabinet there. I went ahead and framed out some shelves to go above them. So we left a large shelf on the bottom so you can fit something like a lamp or a potted plant, and then up above is just kind of normal height shelves that we can put books and stuff on. So that is we have some built-in cabinets here that you see when you walk into the kitchen. Well, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Not a whole lot of work, mostly just an update video about all the stuff that I've been working on kind of on the side for the past year. Now, to be aware that even though all this trim everywhere is hung, everything everywhere still needs caulk and paint. So there is hundreds of man hours of caulk and paint that need to get done throughout the house. So that's a whole nother saga or a journey that we'll have to go through. Once again, not a enjoyable task to have to do, but we are putting that off kind of till towards the end. So essentially what we did in this video is I showed you how all of the trim is turning out in the house, and so far it is looking quite nice. So thanks for watching, stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the next video.